Travis, the Heisman Trophy winner, has now he's now said that no team has expressed any issue with him playing both cornerback and wide receiver, and that's important because he's also said he simply won't play football at all if a team tries to limit him to one side of the ball. A stunning, Jory, you talked to Travis Hunter this week. I want to get your sense on that, but also, I mean, I don't remember the last time a player came in with this, like, hey, you're going to do what I want, or I just won't play football at all. Like, that's just, it's a brazen statement that maybe he's the one rare commodity that can make it.
Yeah, I think what was interesting to me is talking to Travis Hunter not only about what he wants to do at the NFL level, but also about how he ended up playing both ways at the college level. Deion Sanders was the only head coach recruiting him who believed that he could play both ways and allowed him to play both ways. And when I asked him about that, he said Deion wasn't only the sole head coach who allowed him. He was the only one on the staff at the time at Jackson State. Eventually, he went to Colorado who wanted him to do that. So I really think this goes back to the idea that what position or what positions Travis Hunter plays at the NFL level is going to be so dependent on who his head coach is and who the decision maker is and what they want out of him. Now, I was asking him to take me through his schedule and take me through how he went about studying film. And sometimes he'd be in receiver meetings, sometimes he'd be in DB meetings. He would have the coaches at those respective positions catch him up if he was not in the meeting to be able to make sure he was there. And he did feel like his film study at each, like there was a time when he had a forced fumble in a game that he felt like understanding what they were doing with the offensive formations allowed him to make that play on defense. So he did think that the film study played off each other. But when I asked him, I was like, look, I covered the Cowboys when Micah Parsons was playing defensive line and linebacker and going between rooms. So that was still one system, one advanced scouting report. How are you going to try and do it with two? And I didn't feel stupid, but I was a little bit laughing at the way he kind of talked to me about it. He was like, I have so much more time now. I'm not in school anymore. I did this while balancing my academic load. Now this is my full-time job. Of course I have time to do this in my full-time job. You still have to have the coaching buy-in. You still have to have the front office buy-in. But Travis Hunter feels very confident that physically he has the fitness, which I totally believe, and that mentally he is going to be able to master both sides. And if anything, that perspective is going to do it. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of one of my majors undergrad was an interdisciplinary liberal arts program. And in college, they're like, hey, you know what? When we do math, we're going to learn the history of mathematicians, and we're going to take that math and apply it to physics, and we're going to take that physics and apply it back to history. And the idea was that the more you understand how things work together, the better critical thinker you will be able to be in situations and professional experiences that you might not anticipate. And I think that is how Travis Hunter views his football education. It's not that I'm taking away from one when I'm spending time on the other. Is that I'm having this well-rounded perspective that is going to allow me to see the game in a unique way, pair that with the physical fitness I've shown at the college level, and then be able to thrive.
I love it. I love Travis Hunter more and more every day. I really do. I can't wait for this. And you're a voter, Jory, so I'm going to put this in your head. One of the greatest achievements, and I actually think it's possible, is Travis Hunter winning Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think that's off the table.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that will happen, but I can't sit here and say it won't happen because Travis Hunter is just different. And I think NFL teams have to view him as just, yeah, this hasn't happened before, but we haven't seen a guy like Travis Hunter before. So maybe he can. And I think that Deion talked to our Charles McDonald, and I thought it was a really good interview in some ways. The one thing he said that really sticks with me is, look, what's a college game? It's hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. They're getting snaps off with, 14 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever they can do. He's like, the NFL don't work that way. They huddle up. Like, he's like, Travis is going to have all this extra energy after the game. He's going to be running around because he's not tired like he is in college. Now, Deion's Deion, and he's playing to the crowd, and I get that. But there's some truth to that, I think, it's just a different deal where I think Travis actually can do this. And, to your point, Fitz, about him saying, like, I'm not going to play football if you don't let me play both ways. I think at other times when guys hold out, NFL teams could shake their head and be like, this stinks, Eli Manning, whatever. But I think in that case, I think in NFL, if I'm Kevin Stefanski and I got the number 2 pick, I'm looking at it saying, this guy is such a competitor that he wants to do more. He's not asking to do less. He's saying, I'm playing both ways and I'm going to do it, and you can't stop me. If I'm a coach, I love that. I love that. You are a football rat, a gym rat, whatever you want to call it. You want to play both ways. Let's see it. Let's see if you can do it. I think that's a plus and not a minus. I think it's this guy is such a competitor that he wants to do this. He wants to help us on offense and defense. I can't wait for it. I'm probably more excited to watch Travis Hunter this season than I am to watch any other player because I just want to see what this kid can do.
I went into the interview with Travis Hunter being like, I don't think he can play both ways. I just think that the demands of what it takes to be on the same page of the other 10 people on the field is just unrealistic at the NFL level. You'll miss too much practice time. And I came out of it thinking, I do believe that Travis Hunter can do it. And I am more confident now understanding how he views the game. I just still question whether a coach is going to let him, because I think that if you're Kevin Stefanski and you take him, you need an offensive guy. You need the receiver. Your quarterbacks need a guy. And if you're, see it similarly if you're Brian Daboll. I just think that the NFL is not set up to do its best over a long period of time. It's just, how can you maximize this window so you don't lose your job? And I'm not faulting these people for trying to keep their jobs and keep the stability, but I just don't think the NFL is set up with enough foresight to let Travis Hunter play it. And I did ask him,
Wait. Stick there for 1 second, Jory. Because his quote, when asked if an NFL team would make him choose between corner or wide receiver, his quote, "It's never playing football again, because I've been doing it my whole life and I love being on the football field. I could dominate on each side of the ball." If you're Stefanski and Daboll and you're not comfortable with him playing both sides of the ball, does him saying this loudly right now deter you from drafting him at number 2 or number 3 overall?
Not at all. You love that the guy loves football. You love that I think it's a little silly how much teams are like, he doesn't love football, so I'm not into it. He doesn't watch film. Like, is he producing or not? That's ultimately what's going to help you keep your job. Like, calm down. That's what's going to help you win. I don't think it's as much. Maybe that is just me being a cynic and someone who doesn't watch sports in all my free time. And that said, they're going to love that he loves football that much.
By the way, one real quick takeaway from the Deion interview, too, with Charles McDonald, is Deion's pushing for this, too. And of all the people on this earth who know, but think about this. Deion has been very protective of Travis and Shedeur in the draft, the whole process, going back to last year when he's like, I will not let, he calls them both my sons. Yeah, I think he calls Travis his son too, but whatever. He's like, I will not let these guys play in a bad situation. I will hold them out, whatever. Like, that was empty, it turns out. But he's been very protective of Travis Hunter during this whole process. He is the one guy, maybe Roy Green, on earth who knows if you can or can't play both ways in the NFL. He did it in 1996 for most of the season with the Dallas Cowboys. If he thought he was putting Travis Hunter in harm's way, I do not think he would be pushing this so hard. I think he views Travis Hunter almost like a son, and maybe as a son.
Yeah,
and I don't think
Travis Hunter views Deion as a father figure, and that was a big reason why he went with him, because he wanted that father figure.
And so I don't think if Deion, who knows this better than literally any NFL decision maker, he knows what it's like to be a two-way player way better than Stefanski or Daboll or anybody else. Like, he's the guy who knows, and he's like, of course Travis Hunter can do it. Have you seen him? Yeah, of course he could play both ways. He's going to dominate both ways. I don't think Deion Sanders would put Travis in harm's way that way. He'd be backing off. He'd be saying, you know what? I did it. I regret it. Whatever. Don't do it. Don't play both ways in the NFL. He's all for it. So that leads me to believe he believes it truly that Travis Hunter can do this.
Okay, so as we know, timeliness is not my strength. And my sister yesterday was telling us that she believes the right term for this is a time optimist, that we always think we have more time than we do, and that's why we're not in the same place. I think Deion is kind of like a Travis Hunter optimist, and I agree that he thinks this. I agree that he believes it, but I would ask, what happens if Travis Hunter gets hurt? Are we going to say, well, it's because at the NFL level, we were asking him to do something? Like, part of this, I know that we don't want to be so risk averse that we keep ourselves from greatness, but I think the goal is not for Travis Hunter. A coach's goal is not to make Travis Hunter a Hall of Famer, it's to win a Super Bowl. And so you have to ask yourself, what is most going to get them to win a Super Bowl and most going to ensure that Travis Hunter is available, because the whole availability is the best ability. Like, if he gets hurt because you're doing this, that is going to be a huge black mark on that coach and general manager.
All right, Jory, before we move on another part of this Travis Hunter, where do you think Travis Hunter gets drafted as we sit today on Tuesday, a week and a half before the draft?
I think he's joining me in New York, and he's going to the New York Giants after Cam Ward goes to the Tennessee Titans and Abdul Carter joins Myles Garrett in a very scary defensive line with the Cleveland Browns.
Frank, what do you think?
Number 2 to the Browns, and he plays 90% receiver and 60% cornerback. I think that if you draft a guy number 2 like that, you have a plan. And it's not just to play him at receiver or cornerback, it's to play him at both.
Oh, I like that. I get to be the tiebreaker on it. I think Jory's right. I think Abdul. I don't know.
Send him to Tennessee. Go crazy. First overall pick.
Come on. There's been other Abdul Carters. There's never been a Travis Hunter in the draft.
That is well said. You're right. He changed my mind. Travis Hunter 2 to the
It's
Browns.
that easy.
You talk,
You can
George.
change his mind right back.
Pushover.
You can change his
That's why I'm
mind
not
right
into
back. We've
politics.
seen how
I agree that
walk into,
Travis
like-
Hunter's electric, but your goal is not to have an electric player. Your goal is to win as a team.
Yeah,
If I can add the number one receiver and number one cornerback in the draft with the same guy, sign me up.
Yeah. All right. So
We'll see.
you mentioned
You can't, by the way. You're not a general manager.
Yeah, that's fair.
can't, I know,
You mentioned
that's
talking
funny.
to Travis Hunter. I do want to get this in real quick because you talked to Travis about what is this week's controversy around Shedeur. We find things to nitpick every week. This week, it's about the fact that he pats the ball too much, which everybody's running with, and you got the chance to ask Travis about it. Check this out. I want us to react to this.
A lot of people say patting the ball is bad, but they don't understand all the quarterbacks do it. It's just a thing that the quarterbacks do. And when you're playing football and you're in the game and in the zone, you're not looking at him patting the ball. You don't even see it most of the time. If you see him patting the ball, that means you're not in the right spot. You're not in the right position. So I don't get what everybody is talking about him patting the ball. Most of the majority of the quarterbacks pat the ball before they throw it. That's just a thing that quarterbacks do.
George, you walk away with that feeling any kind of way on the Shedeur ball pat controversy?
Yeah, I think it was such a great perspective because Travis Hunter has quite literally needed to understand as the receiver catching the ball from Shedeur Sanders, what Shedeur Sanders patting does or does not mean to the offense. And as a DB who is practicing against Shedeur and others, he needs to understand how much should I be paying attention to patting the ball. And so he was saying, first of all, it did not mess up our timing. And I think the stats for both of them show that. And also the accuracy and production that Shedeur Sanders had in college. And secondly, if you're a DB focusing so much on Shedeur patting the ball, you're probably not paying enough attention to your receiver, and Shedeur is going to burn you. So I think that we also talked about the idea of Shedeur is not 6'8". He's not always going to be taller than the offensive lineman. And so you are not going to be able to see this in the way that you want. And I actually there's a former league quarterback who now works in media who texted me when my story on this came out and was like, I'm so glad you wrote this. And I hope you mentioned this quarterback who's great and this quarterback who's great and how they patted the ball too, because this is something that some scouts are minorly concerned about because they need to show all of the risks to their team to make sure they're not leading their team astray, but coaches are not concerned.
I think that's all very well said. What I do want to ask, because I know we got to get out of here, I want to get this in. There was a report that the Giants are coming to Boulder, Colorado. The world's coming to Colorado again, Jory. The Giants are coming to Colorado to work out Shedeur Sanders. I don't know what to make of this. I'm like, this is so late in the process. I think it's obviously owner-driven. What did you make of this news? Because I was like, you don't waste your time. You're not wasting. You just don't want to come to Boulder, Colorado to hang out on the CU campus. It's beautiful. I get it. But what did you make of this?
If you're going to waste your time, go waste in
Yeah,
Colorado.
let's go to Boulder. Yeah, don't go to Pullman, Washington. Sorry, Washington State. But what did you make of this? What did you make of this? Because I don't think NFL teams don't waste their time. And so it almost has to be a non-zero chance now that Shedeur's back on the table for the Giants at 3.
Okay, I'll give you 2 possible options, and I'll start with the less likely. Less likely to me is that the Giants are like, let's just make sure we don't want Shedeur. We do need a quarterback. The more likely to me is that the Giants want to play all of their cards to try and get someone to come trade up with them, get the 3rd overall
Especially
pick.
after that Saints
Shedeur.
Derek Carr news. Yeah.
Yeah, who's listening?
Yeah.
Hey, every NFL team, we're going to go work this guy out, and we have the 3rd overall pick. Are you sure
That's
you
fair.
don't want it?
That's
You
fair.
want Shedeur? Okay, great.
Okay,
Come get
so
him.
then I'll ask you the same. Right now, if you had to bet your house, something Jory would never do, and Frank and I would
I
probably
don't have
do
a
it
house.
for
I'm
other
win.
happy to bet a house.
Yeah, I'd do it on a game of Yahtzee or
Girls
something.
in a
Yeah,
New
why
York
not?
City apartment, no house for me. Anyway,
Right. If
continue.
you had to bet your apartment on Shedeur being drafted in the top 10, with all the controversy that we have right now, is Shedeur going to go in the top 10, Jory?
Yes, because I think when you look at the Raiders and Saints' long-term needs, I don't see them getting past that,
Yes.
especially with the Derek Carr injury news.
Yeah, I've been on this Shedeur to the Saints bandwagon for a couple of weeks now, and now it's just locked. With the Derek Carr news, it's like, yeah, there's zero chance that he gets past the Saints at 9, unless the Saints are we just like Jackson Dartmoor. I think the Saints have to draft a quarterback. I think they're backed into a corner, and they got to come out of this draft with a quarterback. Whether they move up, whether they stay at 9, I don't know. But if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 9 and the Saints are on the clock, I don't see any way around it unless they draft Jackson Dart because they just like him more. They got to draft a quarterback. A quarterback. They got to draft a quarterback. I keep saying cornerback because it's the Travis Hunter thing. Both ways. Play cornerback and cornerback. That would be interesting.
pure speculation by me. I think the Saints go Jackson Dart at 9, and that means that Shedeur is not drafted in the top 10. How do you like that? We'll see
could be.
how it plays out.
Wow,
We'll
you
be
think
covering
Jackson
it.
Dart's going before Shedeur?
Yeah, I've gone full into this thing. I don't know why. I don't feel good about it. Let's see how it plays out. We'll be doing a live stream for Yahoo Sports, so be sure to check it out. Check us out on social media at Joey Epstein, at Yahoo Schwab, at Jason Fitz. If you've listened this far, rate, review. It only takes a second. Subscribe, tell your friends and family and everybody to hang out with us. We appreciate it. We'll be back on Friday with all the latest, greatest news as we continue to get you ready for the NFL draft. Thank you so much for listening.